Well, everyone, it is time. Yes, LEGO has announced the 5th installment of the Ninjago City series. Now you can see behind me that we have all of the other Ninjago City sets, so we're pretty pumped anytime we know we're getting a new set. And this one is definitely fascinating. There are a lot of really interesting building techniques that I'm going to break down in this video. I'm going to go through the value, but I can't help but wonder if this set isn't a victim of its predecessors. What does that mean? Well, let's dive in. In giving a quick overview, the first thing you might notice about the workshops is that it's on one base plate, the smallest Ninjago City footprint since the original Ninjago City was released in 2017. You might also notice that it's an inverted corner building, a first for a LEGO modular style building, whether it's icons, marvels, or even Ninjago City itself. And the third thing you might notice is that it's 4 levels high in all, making it shorter than almost any other Ninjago City set, except for the docks. The color scheme lacks some of the vibrancy of the prior Ninjago City sets, and largely this is because of the industrial vibe that you get from this set. You've got a lot of reddish browns, dark oranges, olive greens, and not as many of the bright colors, although you do get some of the yellowish green up at the top on one side and some orange on the other side, sprinkled in with some sand green on the lower side with the restaurant and some light blue by the garage. The backs to various levels can be removed for greater accessibility, although there is one large space that is open-backed. There are 10 minifigs, more on them later, along with a large mech that looks like it comes in various stages of construction, and you also get this very creepy Doraemon puppet. The Ninjago City sets are legendary for their advanced building techniques, creative parts usage, and this set certainly has a lot of that going on. And in fact, I noticed quite a few really cool combinations of pieces when analyzing the photos for this set. Starting on the right-hand side, I really like the brick-built window on the first level of the restaurant, which uses 2L bars stuck into a 1x3 jumper plate. This is similar to one of the window techniques we saw in the Lion Knight's castle. The service window is a reddish-brown door frame flipped on its side, which is pretty cool, and note the Fabuland reference on the front window of the restaurant. I also noticed an octane container sitting by the restaurant door, which might be a little odd to see that, but this is an industrial area. One consistently excellent feature of Ninjago City sets are the small mini builds, and the logo for the restaurant, and even the artist shop on this side of the set use some really fun piece combinations. And one thing I did notice that many people might not have is the subtle snot detailing that works its way up the support column, something we do see from time to time in Ninjago City sets. I also really enjoy the stair railing, which you see on both sides of the set, as you use clips to attach the fence piece on an angle. In the artist shop, we get some orange 1x2x2 windows, which isn't a super common piece. And on the inside, there are these 1x2 bricks with Ninjago mech stickers on them, which I thought was interesting. Now, Ninjago City roofs are absolutely legendary, and this set has some insane building techniques for the roofs. Check out this one on the right-hand side. You've got some wagon fences that are upside down, which have some transparent pieces tucked inside to give a stained glass window look. Also, there are 14 1x3x3 arches rotated on their side to create the curved roof effect, and this, guys, this is excellent. I also really enjoy how the crane looks like it comes together. A lot of snot work, and it looks like a pretty solid build and a fun play feature. Not to be outdone though, the left-hand side also features some really cool play features, pieces, and building techniques. The ladder is nice, but note that it leads up to an angled connecting walkway. This allows access to the crane mechanism on what would be the second and third levels of that side. I also noticed here that the billboard is held in place with 1x1 modified plates with bars, as well as some clips that are eventually used to connect some lights. This is a really efficient way to do this, and I like that the Ninjago City Workshops is keeping with the billboard motif of prior sets. Look at the window shutters that are built from book covers. It's the first time we're getting the book covers in dark red. Underneath of that is a very nicely built flower box with a tulip, which is still a pretty new piece that arrived in late 2024. The exterior of Dorama's shop looks like a lot of fun to build. So check out the side walls, which are primarily snot techniques with the masonry bricks in yellowish green, which by the way is the 6th time we're getting those in a set. Note how they are placed with the single slot side facing out, which mimics a vertical siding. And we get some pearl gold windows for just the 3rd time in a set. And note the window insert on the far left is at an angle. This is a unique building technique that is going to stand out in this set. You even have on the side 1x1 bricks with bars that you can use as ladders to reach the roof. And this roof is incredible. Look at how they use chairs, minifig chairs, to create the curved look. Again, just in keeping with the legendary roof techniques that we've seen in Ninjago City sets over the years. Even the interior of Dorama's shop has one of the coolest mini builds I've seen in a while. A phonograph using a revolver and a bowl to achieve this unique look. It's absolutely incredible. Zane's apartment also has some nice exterior features, as it's not just a simple rectangular shaped building, and there's this olive green snot wall that's very reminiscent of techniques we saw in the Ninjago City gardens. On the inside, he has a very cool model of a ship, along with a bed that uses a frame constructed of 1x3 jumper plates. A green rose is attached on the edge of the bed, with this being the 4th time we're seeing this piece in a set. The top of the removable wall uses 1x4 by 2/3 double curved slopes in sand green. By the way, that's the 1st time we're getting those pieces in a set. Working our way to the bottom level of the left-hand side, there are some really cool features. I think you're really going to appreciate the build here as you get started on the set. There's this working garage door, which is not unique, but notice that it has a bow in it. The mechanism to roll it up and the techniques used in this build are absolutely fascinating, and I can't wait to see how that comes together. Also, note you've got these 1x1 by 2/3 snot pieces that are above these rare dark blue garage door pieces that add to the stability of the upper levels, but are still a fun building technique. Unless you think I forgot about the smaller roof sections, don't worry, I got you covered. One of them is snotted, using clips above this window with a propeller in it, which in and of itself reminds me of one of the main windows in the Ninjago City docks. And the side roof uses black catapult pieces flipped upside down. This is, again, a top-notch technique. I also want to give a shout out to the 1x4x6 lattice window insert that makes its appearance in a set for the 6th time. It's not a brand new piece to some, but it is new to me. Now we move on to the mech, which I know a lot of people are excited about, and I think is a fun build with some interesting building techniques. In particular, Autumn really liked how the hands turned out, and I think it's interesting that part of the conceptual or the play features of this set is that you can add different armor pieces and stages of construction to the mech itself. Definitely unique, even if it's not something that I would particularly love having that play feature. I'm okay with it in this set. The final product can rest in the inverted corner or be removed for play purposes. The stand can move forward and backward thanks to a mechanism that makes use of a light blade worm gear. Finally, there is the strange mini build in the form of Dorama's puppet. The character makes an appearance in both seasons of the Dragon's Rising series and is frequently seen on the roof of the left tower just above Dorama's shop. As mentioned earlier, we get 10 minifigs in the set, which is the fewest of any Ninjago City set to date. Some of them are a bit generic, and some of them are rather new. We've got some repeats like Zane, Pixel, and even some of the workers, but Dorama, Dr. Lero, and Twitchy Tim are all making their first appearance in a LEGO set, and Harumi looks to be a distinct version from prior minifigs. To me, the highlights are Dorama and the Dragon Master Tourist, but I can also see how fans of the show are drawn to the Harumi and Twitchy Tim minifigs. So now we're going to break down the value, both in terms of price and display. And I think these are areas where some LEGO fans are a bit disappointed in this set. Let's first talk about the price, which is $250 US, and you get 3,244 pieces along with the 10 minifigs. Now, when you break down the price per piece, this is well below the 10 cents per piece threshold that a lot of fans like to use. However, this is significantly worse of a deal than prior Ninjago City sets, which have all come in between 6 and 7 cents per piece. This one is about 7.6 or 7.7 cents per piece, which makes it maybe the least efficient of the Ninjago City sets. Add to it that you're getting 10 minifigs compared to even the Ninjago City docks, which had 14, and this doesn't strike me as quite as strong of a value. However, to be fair, the Ninjago City docks, when you account for inflation, would cost $290 today, and you get 4 extra minifigs and 100 pieces. So not unreasonable in my opinion in terms of the price that you get for the workshops. It may not be the deal as the markets was, but it's still a pretty solid deal overall. Now, one thing they could do to perhaps solve this is add a couple minifigs or a little bit more detailing in the building, which leads me to the display value. And personally, I find this to be rather mixed, and it's complicated to, I think, articulate why some fans might be upset or disappointed with the set, and I'm gonna do my best to explain why here. Now, the first thing is that this is an inverted corner. Now, there are Technic pins on all 4 sides, which will allow you to arrange the Ninjago City sets as you see fit. You can do an inverted corner or regular corner. But what's noticeably different about this set compared to the other 2 corners is that it's missing the actual corner itself. You've got angled walkways that connect the different sections in this set, whereas the Ninjago City and Ninjago City Garden sets have the full corner developed or reasonably developed, like you see with the gardens. You have the big tree, but you also have the museum up at the top. This lacks that, and I think that lack of detail is intentional. LEGO is looking at this, perhaps thinking, we've got a $370 to close to $400 Ninjago City markets on sale right now, and we don't want to conflict with that, add competition at that price point. So the intentional lowering of the price point means LEGO is going to, well, literally cut corners. And when you look at this on display, especially without the mech on its stand, you can see some of the gaps. It would be like if you remove the gondola from the Ninjago City markets, there would be a lot of empty space, which is one reason why people criticized that set. So without all of the corner buildings and details that we've seen in prior sets, this one definitely feels a bit gappier and a little bit less involved and impressive than the prior ones. And of course, that's one of the keys. I mentioned earlier that this might be a victim of its predecessors. Let's check out some of its predecessors. The Ninjago City, the original, is rated as a 4.6 out of 5 by fans over at Brickset. The Ninjago City Gardens, also a 4.6 out of 5. The Ninjago City Docks, a 4.5 out of 5. Those are all elite ratings. Very few sets in any given year achieve that high of a rating on Brickset. The Ninjago City Markets, just in case you were wondering, a 4.3 out of 5. I think this set is going to end up at around a 4.2 or a 4.3. And I mentioned one reason could be because it just doesn't have the same detailing, because LEGO's trying to give us a lower price point with this. And I think that's one reason why when I look at this set, it lacks the wow factor. Now, if you were to just look at this set in a vacuum, imagine that there were no Ninjago City sets released prior to this, it would be an incredible set. We would be looking at it like it's a fresh breath of air into LEGO sets, and we'd look at it as modular fans just drooling over the capabilities. But this set isn't released in a vacuum. There are 4 other Ninjago City sets that came before it, and we're all going to be comparing this one to those. I think that hurt the Ninjago City markets, and I think it's going to hurt this one. And so what I'm hoping is that we're getting this 32 by 32 corner. It's going to be, the next in the series. And then after this, we'll get a straight building that will be either 48 or 64 studs wide if the pattern holds. It's a big if. We'll see. LEGO has certainly the right to do whatever they want to do when it comes to those sets. But I'm hoping that, like the Ninjago City Gardens, coming after a simpler, scaled down Ninjago City Docks, we get something truly impressive in the next Ninjago City set, which I would anticipate coming out in 2027. So overall, in terms of the value, display, and cost, there are a couple of small things when you look at this set that just doesn't get it to the same level as the other ones. So what's the verdict on this set? Is this a set that we plan on getting soon? Is it a set that we would recommend getting anytime in the near future? Well, I definitely think that if you are like me or us, we have a YouTube channel and we love just looking at modular combinations and even the Ninjago City sets and how they might arrange themselves and how you can put them together in unique ways. Yeah, it's a day one purchase. But of course, 99.9% of you watching this don't have a YouTube channel and you're not into it for, oh, I gotta get content out there right away. So I think for a lot of people, you might prioritize other sets over this, and I would completely understand. In fact, I think it's very, very reasonable for the non-YouTubers, the non-hardcore Ninjago fans to wait a while before getting this. Wait for at least double points, or wait until it's toward the end of its shelf life. Like the Gardens, it was on sale for Black Friday this past year. You might be able to find a deal in next year or in 2027 for this particular set. And I think that would be the way to go because it just doesn't have the same appeal as the other sets. Now, of course, we are definitely going to plan on picking this up day one if we can, because we want to bring you some fantastic content about it to help you decide if you want to get this set, and if so, when. Now, let me know what you think about this set in the comments below. Do you think this is a fantastic entry into the series? Do you think this is a disappointment? I'm curious to know what you think about it. Thanks for watching, and always remember to keep building together.